Everybody's seen, we talked a little bit about alternative text on a web page. Very much the same in pictures in Microsoft Office products. Alternative text is a property of the graphical object, so that's how it can stand in for the graphic when viewed by a screen reader technology of some sort. It can also be done though. You can set the alternate text to be blank, and it's okay to be blank as long as you have the whatever the process being illustrated is in adjacent text. So there's really two ways to do that. And use of color, black on white background is always visually accessible, and every step you take away from that, it becomes riskier and riskier. So there's a lot of latitude in there, but it's not necessarily infinite. How do you know when you cross the line? White space in Word, style properties are what's done typically to do white space. So you have a certain style, is like your body. We call it body text because it's what most of your documents can be. And you set up that it has 6 points before and 6 points after each paragraph, and that leaves you an even amount of space in between. One of the biggest problems with just hitting extra enter keys is that, well, on one page you did it this way, and the next page you did it that way, and the document has verbal flow, but when you look at it as a whole, it looks, this is kind of, it's not really an accessibility issue, it's more of a, well, this guy didn't know what he's doing issue. So, in PowerPoint, there is actually a similar function in the paragraph area on the ribbon, where you can set up spacing, line height, and spacing. So, mentioned this before, clear and simple writing. When all else fails, follow the subject, predicate, verb thing you learned in high school or junior high or middle school or wherever it was. Use active voice. And if you turn that feature on, Word will tell you when you're not doing it. The one I really makes me cringe is when somebody refers to the reader in third person by saying, the user now does this, the user now does that. And it's like, well, who's reading this? The user. Just tell him to do it then, okay? You can save a few words while you're at it. Avoid long introductory clauses because, well, first of all, it's not straightforward writing. Sometimes it's necessary, but think about a person who's using a screen reader. If you give them a long introductory clause, by the time you get 5 words past the comma or the semicolon or whatever, they're going, now, what did I say at the beginning? Why am I here? What's my motivation? And I like to say avoid inline lists, where you put da-da-da-da, A, da-da-da-da, B, because when you do that, to my mind, you've got a thing that's in its natural form is a list of things. Why do you crunch it together and put it back in a paragraph? Leave it as a list of things. Even to the sighted reader, it's, wow, there's a list of things. It's not 3 things buried in a paragraph. And so use your ordered list for step-by-step instructions and when things are order important in the way you're conveying it. For everything else, use bullets. I think we use ordered lists too many times, just because, well, option 1 is this, option 2 is that, but that option is just really a construct in our mind. And assume, in clear writing, I always say too, to assume the reader is the actor unless you say otherwise. There's a big thing about Bloom's taxonomy over where I work, and the idea of if you're going to tell people to do something, give them the action verb to begin with so they know whether they're supposed to run, walk, dance, sing, whatever it might be. Use standard punctuation. This is a tricky thing still from what I've seen in the assistive technology world, and that is that periods and what else? Well, okay, so yeah, all your end punctuation and stuff. A screen reader will take a pause, but screen readers will just plow right through commas, semicolons, whatever. They especially Adobe's.
Have you seen the T-shirt on?
No,
Let's eat, Grandma. Let's eat, comma, Grandma. Comma, save lives.
can I use that? And assistive technology plows right through line feeds and carriage returns. As you know, if you have a list of things, you know, and this is kind of weird because, you know, we're taught to, if you do a list and the list, each item in the list is a full sentence, then you need to punctuate at the end. But if it's just a list of red, blue, green, yellow, you typically don't put a period at the end of those kinds of lists. And the problem is if you don't put a period at the end of those, even though there's a line feed at the end, the screen reader just goes red, green, blue, yellow, purple, orange, you know, without, and you know, that's not so bad, but if it was 2 or 3 words, you could imagine how, well, that could get really confusing because can't even tell where the list item begins and ends. And that's the case of, once again, the tags are there. It's just that they're not being picked up on by the technology yet. We can hope for better days in that regard. Okay. Get tired. Links and cross-references, there's a lot of possibilities there. If you're aware of tables of contents in Word, they use cross-references to build a table of contents. And you know, the other thing is when you're in there and you got a figure and you label it figure 1-1, you want to use the captioning capability to do that because that creates a bookmark out of that so that you can reference it later instead of just saying see figure and type the letter 9, and then you come back to it a year and a half later after you've added 15 figures in there and you have to go in there and change all those things manually. So you know, this is one of those, there's never time to do it right, there's always time to do it over. I'll do, in this case, try to do that one right. PowerPoint doesn't really have all that cross-referencing stuff, but it does do web links. And so, you know, if you say, and it's pretty good in that you don't have to, you know, prefix something necessarily, although our standard is that we put the HTTP : / in front of everything so it's recognized by anybody that it's a link. But as you're probably aware, the latest Microsoft stuff for several years now has done a pretty good job at seeing when those links exist and banging them right out. This is a thing that is hard for a lot of people to catch on, though, is that hyperlinks should be underlined, and underlines are reserved for hyperlinks only. So no more using underlines for emphasis or anything like that, because to a certain class of users, that is the one and only signal they may see on the page that says this is a link. You know, a sighted, fully colorblind person won't be able to recognize a link unless it has that case of the underline. So, to ensure accessibility, good design principles are probably the number one thing. If you embark on this path, you want to come up with some good style guide for your business or your organization. Find somebody that knows how to do it. Come up with some good templates that are, you know, kind of document specific for all the various documents you do.
Make sure that at the front, when you pull up Word and start a blank document, make sure that those styles are the first ones you see, not the last ones you see.
Yeah, whatever you can do. We just tell people, go find it and double click on it, because that'll open a blank document using that template. But you need training for your people, and like a good quality guy, I'll say you need to require evidence of compliance and conduct sample testing. So, free tools. Office 2007 and up has accessibility checkers in, and they're pretty good. They don't cover everything. You have to have your documents in the newest XML format in order for them to work, though. So they have to be updated to that at least. And the Acrobat Pro 8 and up has a thing called accessibility full check. And those, to work, those files have to be tagged PDF, and the best way to do that is using the Adobe plugin. It gets put into Microsoft applications if you install it correctly. No, you've got to, it has a plugin up on the bar that says Acrobat, and up there you say, what is it, convert to PDF. And it tags it along the way, whether it's saved to PDF or print to PDF just does plain old PDF.
Does 10 have the full PDF as an option?
Well, it's
file save as and
yeah,
two PDF options.
yeah. I think they're both still there. The save as and print to.
Because I don't think it's good. You don't think it puts the PDF up on the bar anymore?
No, it should. It should be up on the bar. It's kind of like a deal when you have to install the PDF after you do Office.
Well, maybe it's because we get ours with it as already a requirement.
Could be. I don't know. But I know on mine it's right at the. It's up on the top. You just click it and then pick the icon of what you want to do, and it creates it. Let's see. And the other thing is like I found too last week, is there's still some additional processing of the PDF file that's necessary before you run the checker. Okay. The caveat emptor on that one is both the Acrobat checker and the Windows or the Office checkers find a lot of problems. Each finds problems, the other doesn't, but both of them together don't find all the problems. Okay, and both of them have written escape clauses that tell you that in 25 words or less too. So.
What would you say that if you use full capture about 75%?
I mean, obviously it depends a large part on what your document has in it, but across the board, one per. Like for example, if you don't have any tables in your document, it pretty much catches just about everything that's important. Tables lend a whole new complication to things, especially when you start merging cells and tables and things like that. It's really easy to get out of whack. So
Do they warn you